Hi everyone, welcome back. I wanted to come live and show you guys how I do my one signature faux leather journals. So basically, sorry guys, I'm just going to load our video and our comments. There we go. Perfect, I'm in good focus tonight. Hi Ida, thanks for joining, love. So tonight I'm going to show everyone how to do my one signature faux leather covered journals. Hi Teresa, thanks for joining. Teresa was the one who actually showed this originally in her group, but I do mine a little differently. Her process showed to do it through an embossing folder. So you'd have like a 3D effect with an embossing folder, but I like to just crinkle it and make it look like faux leather. So I'm going to walk you through my process of how I do a one signature softcover journal. So we're going to start with the craft stock, and we're going to turn this into faux leather, and then I'm going to stitch around it, and then we're going to get our signatures in. So basically here I have one page, which is 11.5 by 8.25, because it's not quite 8.5 by 11. So I had to trim my pages down. And what I did was trim all of my pages down. And I'm going to use my new kit. So I like it, guys, that I have a little bit of a gap, just a small one, that goes in between my actual pages and the outer edge of the cover. I like to leave that little bit of a gap so that there's a distinction between the cover and the actual book pages. So the first thing, so I've basically put them all into my signatures, my single signature. And again, for the middle, guys, so instead of folding it the opposite way, like you would like this, I just turn one of the pages this way, and that's how I like to do my center. So it's just something I like to do. So all my pages go the opposite way throughout the entire thing, like that, like this, and like this, until I get to the center. And instead of folding it the opposite, I fold it the opposite way instead of going the same direction. And this also leaves me 2 blank pages on one side. This is my direct signature for the middle. So it's more decorative, right? And then it leaves me 2 blank pages on the other side. So then I can do some mixed media or something where it's cohesive on both sides. Hi Tammy, thanks for joining. Hi Donna, thanks for joining, love. So basically, that's just something I like to do. So I've broken this down into one signature, and I like to pre-score my pages. So basically, I take them, I crease them in half. Some people don't like to do that, but I do. I find it just gives it more stability, and it's going to go exactly where I eventually want it. So this here I'm going to put aside. Hi Edwin, thanks for joining. So we're going to take our piece of craft stock. So I would say this is about 60 pound. Maybe 65 pound craft stock cardstock. So it's not white, it's the craft stock brown. And then what I'm going to do is you can use any glycerin or vegetable glycerin. Mine's organic, it doesn't have to be organic. This is like vaping quality, so it doesn't have to be that. That's just what I have. And basically, Teresa also showed you can put it in a spray bottle. So I would mix like, half and half water with vegetable glycerin, but you don't even have to do that, guys. I'm just going to put a little bit like this on my hand. And I have a little eyedropper bottle in my craft room. Well, and I'm going to drop it everywhere. And I just add water. Here we go. So I'm going to add some water to that. And I'm going to mix that around in my hands. And it doesn't matter if I get it on the book. I'm basically going to make a 50-50 mixture in my hand of vegetable glycerin and water. And I'm going to treat both sides and make sure I have enough coated on both sides. There we go, 50-50 glycerin and water. And this is my favorite method, guys, for making faux leather. And the reason is because when it's done, your finished product actually gives you like a feeling of faux leather, and it strengthens your paper and makes it fabric-like. So again, I'm just going to treat the entire thing and rub it in so I get it into all the pores. And it makes a really nice sturdy cover. So once I can feel that I'm damp and I'm not soaking wet, then I'm going to take this and I'm going to crumple it up into a tiny little ball like this in my hands. And there's no rhyme or reason behind that. It's just a crumped up little ball. And then I'm going to unravel it. And that, guys, is where the magic happens. You can get vegetable glycerin at Walmart. You can get it at any drugstore. I bought mine from Amazon because, again, mine's vaping quality. You don't need vaping quality. Mine's organic vegetable glycerin. But you don't have to have that. You can just get regular glycerin or just vegetable glycerin. And if you guys get the organic stuff, it's more expensive. So you don't even have to do that, guys. Like, just go and get a bottle of glycerin. And it is, it should only be like $2.99 or $3.99 at Walmart or the drugstore. This was $10. So that's like the difference in price between the organic and the non-organic, but both will give you the exact same method. And it's very nice on your hands. So if you're, you know, that'll like absorb right into my skin. So I'm not worried about cleaning up any kind of a mess or anything. And it will absorb right into your paper. And as you guys can see, my paper is like pretty much dry. And again, I'm just going to give it a good crumple. Once or twice, just depending on how much crumpled you're looking for. And as you can see, guys, it doesn't rip. So don't worry about ripping it. It's not going to rip when you crimple it. So I have a really good crinkle now that's going to give me that faux leather look. And now I want to take my walnut stain. So you want something dark. You don't want something light. And I'm going to run it like this across my page. Now I want to give you guys a little tip. I have both. I have the Distress Oxides and I have the Distress Inks. For this method, you're going to get a better result if you use oxide. And the reason is, when you wet oxide, it sits, it oxidizes and sits on top. Whereas when you wet the Distress Ink, it's more like a watercolor and it seeps into your background. So with the walnut stain oxide, it's going to pop. So that's why I prefer this method with the oxide. And you can use any color, guys. You don't have to use walnut stain. It's just what I like. And it's what I prefer. And that's how I get that dark. If you guys can see this. That's how I get that dark effect. And I didn't do both sides for this one. I just did one side. And that's the effect that you're going to get from the walnut stain. And I think I've got more crackles on this one than I do that one. So again, that's just preference. And I want to go right to my edge over here too. So if you guys can see, I kind of missed that. So I want to, there we go. So yeah, just touch up anywhere where you have to. And I just take the whole pad and just kind of go over it. Like that. And now it's like, it's not even damp, guys. It's dry. And it changes the consistency of your paper. And then what I like to do, and it looks like fabric. And then what I like to do is take my gloss Mod Podge, and I don't want to do this too thick, and I want to make sure I have a dry brush. I'm just gonna grab my mixed media cloth here to wipe this off. There we go. So I like to take like a damp or almost dry brush, go into my gloss Mod Podge, and not, you know, a crazy amount, just wet your brush, and then we can give it a light coat, and it will seal it and give it that shiny finish. And this is also going to oxidize your Distress Oxide as we go, because it's wet, giving it that dark leather look. And it will pop onto the top of the surface, the oxidized color, once it's dry. And I really love that effect. And that's just how oxides work. They basically, once you put them down onto a layer of something, they're the layer that pops up to the surface on top. So I've done this section here. I want to make sure I'm still in frame. There we go, so you guys can see what I'm doing. Yeah, this should be much better tonight, guys. I took my lamp down. I had like one of those circle lamps attached to my phone, and it was weighing it down. So now I'm able to get in proper focus, and I don't have to worry about it moving my camera around. I'm going to wall mount it somehow, because I like the extra light in here at my desk. But I think I'm just going to mount it to the other lamp. There we go. And I just want to make sure I'm getting in all those little nooks and crannies. And again, I'm just doing a very light coat, and this will not take long to dry. You can do both sides, but you don't have to. And I didn't on the other one, and I don't feel like I have to cover it. It gives you that look like it's like a suede leather. It's really neat. There we go. And that's pretty much it, guys. And then I put it aside to dry. And actually with this one, what I also did, I took Distress Oxide sprays, and that's how I got that effect. So right now, while it's drying, if you were to take some Distress Oxide spray and just give it a light spray, whatever you spray it with will show up like this. So if you wanted to do that effect, this almost reminded me of wood when I did it like that, like a wood grain. So that's kind of the difference between like a wood grain look and the faux leather technique. So I just wanted to share that. So I'm going to put that one aside, and we're going to wait for this to dry, and I'm going to run it through the sewing machine. And as you guys can see, here's the inside of it. It actually looks like fabric. If you guys can see that, you have like almost that same texture as fabric. And then even when you hold it in your hand and when it's dry, it's going to have a totally different feel than paper. And because I've sealed it in with the gloss Mod Podge, it gives it strength. So you don't have to worry about your cover tearing. So it's another thing I like about this. It gives your cover more durability. So I'm just going to put that over here to dry. And I'm going to take a baby wipe to my glass media mat. Yeah, I have an LED light in my lamp, like my tall lamp. I have this, like one of those great big huge tall living room lamps sitting on my desk. And I'm not sure what's in the ceiling. My husband replaced that bulb. I'm not sure which one he put in. But I have one of those daylight circular lamps, and it's supposed to attach to your cell phone holder when you're recording, but I just don't like the weight of it. It weighs down my my camera, like right down to the desk. So you're recording and slowly it just starts moving around. It's awful. So I'm going to try to mount it somewhere else. Okay, now I can kind of figure out my signatures. So again, I have them exactly how I want them. I've printed out the pages for my free kit that I did, and I folded everything in half, and I cut everything down to go exactly where I want it into the journal. And this is where you can kind of decide, okay, do I want to put some mixed media in here, or, you know, or figure out what your elements are going to be. But I don't always do that. I sometimes like a lot of the time, I like to just put my journals together, and then I like to work from there. So the other thing you'll need is, I'm going to use black crochet thread for this, so you guys can see my stitching. It'll be easier to probably see than the beige. And I'm going to stitch around this entire thing in black, so then it kind of matches. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that while I'm waiting for that cover to dry. I'm just going to thread my needle. And I'm using a large darning needle. It has a fairly big eye on it. There we go. And I like to make sure I have a good amount. Not enough that I'm going to trip over, but at the same time enough to do my entire stitching of the one signature. So I think that's probably about good. Yeah, right about there. So I have that ready to go. I can put that aside. And we're still a little tacky, but it's not too bad. I want to just make sure we're completely dry before I stick this through my sewing machine. I did a fairly light coat of the Mod Podge, so it shouldn't take too long, as you guys can see. And it gives it that really cool fake leather look. And it does it. It even feels that way. It just changes the consistency of your paper. And I just love how it looks. Yeah, we're still a little tacky. We're almost dry though. Oh, that'll be beautiful, Teresa. And then I have paper clips here to clip the whole thing down. All right, I think I'll be okay to sew the edges of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a minute and run this through my sewing machine. And then by the time I'm done, it should only take me a minute. And I'll be ready to go and we'll get the signatures in. So just give me one sec, guys. almost there. Sorry, guys. I just had to replace the thread at the top of the machine. My bobbin's good, though. There we go. What in the heck? Sorry guys, this is taking me forever. Of course I have technical difficulties with my sewing machine when I'm live. Oh, it never fails. Okay, here we go. There. Now I should be good to go. And I'm about halfway down my stitch. Okay, that still doesn't want to. What am I doing wrong? Oh my goodness. Now I have a problem with the bobbin. Okay, I got it now. Okay. Sorry guys, and I'm way over here, so you can't really see what I'm doing. I just don't have enough room at my desk for my sewing machine. Okay, here we go. If I don't get this soon, like immediately, then I'm just going to stop the video and I'll be right back as soon as I have this sewed. But I'm just going to give myself another minute to try to fix this and get it under control so I can finish sewing this. Alright, we're all set up again. And we should be good to go. Okay. give this a go. There we go. Okay, that side's finished. Okay. And the last one. There we go. It never fails, guys. When something's going to go wrong, it always happens when you're live. So here we go. I did it. I sewed around it. Now, I wanted to show you this too. So I have a little whoops here, and that's okay. And I'm going to show you how to fix it. So I had all my cords like attaching themselves and getting stuck from underneath my bobbin at the bottom. So once I had the problem with the top, then all of a sudden I started having problems with the bottom. So anyways, I have the rest of it done. I'm just going to clip my strings, and we're going to fabric tack this. So I'll show you a little hack. Because I should have left this overnight, and I shouldn't have done this when it was tacky, but I did, because I just wanted to get it done and show you guys. But there is a way I can fix it. So very carefully, there we go. Just getting rid of some of these extra strings. Here we go. So essentially, I want that to sit flat. So all I have to do is glue it right along here and here with some fabric tack. Here we go. Right like so. I just have to kind of spread this out, and there we go. And it just looks like a series of stitches. And that's it, guys. We embrace the imperfection. If it were something I were selling, I would probably scrap it or cover the inside with something else. But let's see the outside. It probably shouldn't look too bad. See? It looks like a stitch. That's okay. I'm okay with that. If it was like a huge piece missing and it was really bad, I would say okay. Yep. It happens. Embrace imperfection. And who cares, guys? It's only paper. Normally, when I make these, it's like an assembly line. So I might do like 4 at a time, 5 at a time. And that's just, yeah, how we do it. But what I am going to do is choose to make this side my front cover, opposed to that being the front cover. So that's kind of how I'll do that. So then, same thing, guys, we fold it right in half, and we are dry now. This thing is completely dry. And we have our faux leather journal, and the inside looks same thing, and it almost feels suede. So I'm really happy with that. Kind of gives it a little grungy look. I love it. And then we're going to take our journal and we're going to line it up to the center, and I'm going to put this exactly where I want it to sit, And again, guys, you're not really going to see much because this goes fairly close to my edges. And where I made the boo-boo was on the bottom. So, and I want to make sure that I'm lined right up like this with my center. And then I'm going to start paper clipping it in place. For anyone new to making journals, this is super important because you want to make sure that all of your pages are secure before you start poking holes and you start sewing anything down. You have to make sure that your edging is all secure and your pages are exactly where you want them. See, I'm off just a little bit on this corner, right like that, because I want to leave that little gap at the top. Perfect. And I'll have that same little gap at the bottom. And then I've done these where it's going to have that little gap here at the side. There we go. I think eventually what I want to do is do like a double setup where I can somehow switch cameras and go from the one at my desk to the one on the countertop. So if I do that, then I just have to press a button, and then I can film from the other spot when I'm using my sewing machine. So I'm going to get my husband to kind of figure out what my best method is for doing that, because I know a lot of YouTubers and a lot of people who do videos, they have that option of using different cameras and flipping things around. So I'm going to look into that, because to me that would be super handy. And then I wouldn't have to be like, you know, guys, give me 10 minutes. Here we go. And I just want to make sure that we're all nice and secured down. And while we were drying, we threaded our needle, which is now tangled. There we go. With strings from the sewing machine. Okay. So now basically what I want to do, a lot of people like to use the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I like to do a decorative stitch, and I'm going to show that to you now, and so you guys can see. And I'm going to just come down a little bit so I can get a little closer so you guys can see. And I'm going to make sure that I stay in focus, so I need to move up. Let me see if that's good. I have a little delay. And I'm going to come this way. Okay, so what I want to do, so I have my needle here. I use the Stamper Secret Weapon. And this is my favorite tool for poking holes. I find I have more control because it's got this grip on it, so I don't ever slip with this tool, because you can get very hurt if you do. So basically I want to find where I have my holes here, and I'm just going to go along my spine and evenly space and punch them. So there's my first one right here, and I'm lined up perfectly with my spine, and I'm looking at about, I'd say about half of an inch gap between each one. Here we go, and I'm just going to keep following my guideline of my fold line. Yep, right about there. And I'm going to turn it around right about here. Well, that'll be easier on that side. Just the middle's awkward. There we go. I just don't want to poke myself. And right here. and right about there, and right about here, right about there, right about here, right about here. Make sure I'm still on that fold line. Right about here, right about here, and right about there. Perfect. So I have all my holes now in there. Then what I want to do is I want to go to the halfway mark. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 1, there's the center. So you find your center, direct center, right here, and I'm going to put it through. Just like I would start with my pamphlet stitch, and I like to leave, like, you know, that decorative little thing. And I could probably do it right about there. And if you want, what you can do is just secure it to one of your clips that you have, so that you have your tail tight like that. So then what I'm going to do is do a regular stitch going in and out until I get to the top. So I'm going to bring this closer so you guys can see. And I want to make sure that I'm staying in focus. And I just have to find my hole. Here we go. So what I've done, I've created my tail and I've gone down the center hole. I'm coming up the next one, creating my first stitch. Well, see, I've got string from the sewing machine. Here we go. I just got to pull my tail. There we go. That's better. Make sure we're nice and tight. So we turn it over and we have our first stitch here and we're tight. And then we're going to go down. Okay, so you guys can see. We're going to go down. Come on. There we go. We're going down like that, creating our first stitch. And then when we go down this hole, we're going to come up this hole. So we're essentially leaving that gap. But we'll fill it in when we come back down, and I will show you. Okay, hold on. Come on. There we go. So we're coming back up through the hole. Make sure we're tight. See? There we go. And then we're coming like this. So we're just doing like a regular stitch, like that. And then we're coming back up. So we went down this hole, we're coming back up this hole. So again, I just like to flip it to the back to sort of see what I'm doing. Like that. There we go. We're coming up that hole. And we're going through the next one. Like this. And we're coming up through the next one here. Yep. And then we're going down through this one. Okay. Now we're at the top and we've done half of our signature. But then what we want to do on this side, so we have come to the top. So if you guys can see here, and this is why I use the black thread so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take my needle and I'm coming from this part at the top and I'm going to come back through this hole right here. And if you guys can see, that is going to fill in the gap between here and here. So then when I'm in this one, see, I'm coming up through this one and I want to go through right here. This is actually an embroidery stitch. So see, it's all continuous and it looks more decorative. And then again, I'm coming from this side and I'm coming up through this hole here, like this, to fill in that gap. And it works the same way on both sides. So you're essentially filling in all the gaps. And then this side here. Whoops, sorry guys. Oh, good night, Edwin. Have a great night, love. Thanks for joining. And then, so when we come up here, we're going to go down on this side, like that. And the same thing, we flip it to the back, and we're here. And we're just completing that stitch. And then we're going to go, whoops. Yeah, we're going to go down through here. Here we go. Up through here, like that. And we're going to go down here. There we go. Yep, down through here. And then we're going to flip it to the back, and we're going to come up here. So when I'm doing a one signature journal, this is just something decorative and pretty that I like to do. And then basically you're going to have this straight embroidery stitch all along your spine. So see guys, when you close it, it just looks kind of fancy. And that's what it looks like when it's finished. So then, we're now here at the middle. So then I want to go down here. Okay. To complete that side. And then, yep, down here, and we tie it when I come back up. So we don't tie it yet, we wait till we come back up. So I'm going down like this, so then same thing. So we've completed our stitch on one side, and we're going to start the stitch on the other side. So right here, like that, and then we're coming down exactly the same way that we went up. We're just now going down. Like this, and like this. Sorry guys, I just have to be able to see what I'm doing. Here we go. Up like that. Down like that. Up like this. Down. Yep, right here. And then we're going to start going back up. So again, when you get to the end, you're going to flip it over and see where you just came up. And then we're going to go back through. And that's where we, I hope you guys can see, and that's where we go through the last one that we came up, which is right here. There we go. And you just want to make sure that you're not caught on any paper clips or anything. I'm notorious for that. There we go. And then same thing. We're coming through right here to finish our stitch. And we're going to flip it over. Come back through this one. And then if you do it this way, it's done all in one sequence without having to tie knots, and you just tie a knot here when we get back to the center. That's why I go up and then I go down. So that's kind of the method behind that. So we're not tying off, we don't have to tie it off multiple times, if that makes sense. There we go. And then we have 2 stitches left. This one here to complete this one, and then we're coming up to tie it off, because see, we have a gap here, so I want to come up that hole here, which, as you can see on the back, this is the final gap. So we come up that final hole, here. Come on. There we go. Right here. Okay. And then I would, if you guys can see, I would just bring my thread through here to complete that right here. And then I would take these two and tie them perfectly together with just, you know, your double knot. One. One. There we go. Two. There's my double knot. And then I like to make sure that they're about the same length. And I do both, guys. I switch it up between the black and the crochet and the beige crochet lace. That's my favorite method, and if I find easiest for sewing in your books. I did this one in leather, and I had to do it a couple of times to get it tight enough. So that's not something I'd recommend for somebody who's just starting or a beginner. Because, yeah, I had to take it apart 3 times to get that right. Because it just didn't want to tighten up for me. Okay, now we can pull off all of our paper clips and or your binder clips. You can use either or. Just use what you have. Here we go. And my only recommendation is waiting until this is 100% dry. So if I would have waited like a half hour, like till probably about now, this is 100% dry. When I was sewing it on the sewing machine, it was a little tacky, and that's how come it bit the corner over here. But I didn't have too much trouble sewing it. And when it's fully dry, you don't have any trouble sewing it. And it's just a fun way to make a little booklet, and then the cover's durable. That's what I love about this. And there we have it. We have our little journal. And then we just fold it in half. So here we go, guys. I'll give you a little flip through. And it's a beautifully done softcover journal with this cute little decorative stitch inside of here. And so this is what we look like. And I really like it. And then I can decorate my pages, add my ephemera, and do all kinds of stuff. There's our center with that decorative stitch. And I like this one with the black. It kind of pops. Oh, thanks, Tammy. Here we go. I turned it really cute. Yeah. And this one. And that one. And this one. And I printed a couple of the pages twice, just so that I had enough pages to do like a little journal. So that's how I like to do my little faux journals. And then this turned out to be 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. So it's a good size. So I just wanted to share. That's how I like to create these little journals. And then again, with this one here, I used the Tim Holtz Impress Lit, and I used my Gilding Wax and Copper. And I actually, if you guys can see, I slow stitched the same method as I did doing that stitch all the way around my little frame. So there's a billion ways that you can do something like that, and just to create like a little accent. And I did that in my beige crochet thread to kind of make it pop. And this one I did the same method, but I used the beige instead of black. And I think because I did the black stitching, that I really like the black stitching. So kind of this one maybe matches better. But yeah, it's just a fun way to do that. And this one I did a bit smaller, as you guys can see. I used, I cut it to make it more like a traveler's notebook size. And yeah, I've done some decorative stuff. These, this one here I did with, RT Maze's, digitals. And I did some stenciling, and I created that one. And that's a G-Curve tutorial from YouTube. These are really cute. It's her flower pot. And it holds a little tag in there. You guys can see that. It holds a little tag. and I used RT May's printouts. I have a little 3-dimensional butterfly on there. Just super cute. And then here I have one of the pockets I did, and I just have to put a tag or something in there. And then here I have a little belly band, so I just have to slide something in there. This one here I did in blue, and I made a little full pocket for here, and I just have to stitch this. So that's another thing I have to do. I have to stitch this on the sewing machine. I did it out of book pages. So I made this cute little 3-dimensional pocket. And I believe this one's a Patsy Pockets, one of her tutorials. So that one's here. And this one here is the little envelopes that Gail Agostinelli makes. So I just have to tuck something in here. So I created this little embellishment. And these are great because you can actually put them on like a paper clip. And you can make like an altered paper clip with that. Or I do what she does and kind of glue a portion of it down and then use it as like a little tuck for like some tags or like something really small. So I just like how decorative that is. And I used a blue flower with a little pearl to kind of match this page, like the dark blue from over here. So it just kind of ties it in. And then I'm going to have this where something tucks in behind there too. So that's kind of the plan for this page. I just don't have it glued down yet. And this one here, I did decoupage with a napkin, and I added a bird from Artemis, one of her digitals. And because I used the July kit, but I also added some more of her stuff. And then this is just a little, I'm going to do a tutorial eventually on this. And it's just simple. It's just making hinges, and it's envelopes. So basically I'm going to hinge this down. Here I'll show you. Here we go. And it just folds out like that. My envelopes are completely sealed, so where I've opened them is at the top. So each will hold a tag. 1, 2, 3. And then it just folds all back. Kind of like that. I just have to finish matting and going. And then and then this is the center of the journal, and then I just have a couple more pages to finish. So I have some more pockets and some more ideas and things. And then for this journal, I'm going to show you guys what I made. And it was kind of fun. Oh, right here. It's not done, but I started it. And I will do another one with this, guys, because this is something new I'm doing, and I really love this. So I've kind of taken this to another level. And I have another one here. So this is the folio that this kind of goes with. This is for my Artemis folio project. She did a challenge for July. So this is kind of what I had made. And I showed this before with the tags and the journaling cards. And I absolutely love these guys. I did journaling cards, and I did my stamping, and I sewed around them, and I used Artemis, her July kit that she had. But I printed it twice and ran out of pages, so that's why I'm using other stuff too to just kind of tie it into the journal. So yeah, and these are both the same. They're just, yeah. So 2 have butterflies and 2 have roses. And I did, I sprayed them with Distress Oxide spray and Victorian Velvet. And I used script stamping on them. So these are in here, and these are in here. So I made these cute little tuck thing here. And then over here, this is what I was talking about. So here I made I took another one of her freebies, and I added like a little notepad kind of thing here. And this is one of her tutorials that she does here. With this, I just did it kind of like a closure. This is mine. So this is super fun. So I've seen somebody else do the flip, but not a 3-tier flip. So this goes, instead of just going 2, it goes 3. So it's 1, 2, and then the 3. And what I've done is hinge it. So if you guys can see that, it's kind of hinged. So you're able to tuck it underneath one of the Tim Holtz medallions. So again, I double score it so you're able to have this motion. If you guys can see this. So this is done at a scrapbooking paper. You're able to have this motion like this. So I'm able to take a Tim Holtz medallion and put it here. And then I'm able to open it and then close it, if you guys can see that. So it's just like a motion of sliding it up and then sliding it down, and it'll stay completely put without ripping anything or tearing the bottom. So it just gives it that natural kind of bend kind of thing. So I came up with that as a way to use the Tim Holtz medallions as a closure. So I really like that, doing the double score line. And then this one here folds out, and it's going to be 3 with little pockets like this with tags. And this is just preliminary, like I haven't finished it. So what actually happened was I went to print the journaling cards, and when they printed, they printed in landscape mode instead of printing in portrait. So when they print in portrait, they're supposed to come out this way. Well, they printed in landscape. So I got something with a bunch of them cut off. So they were actually perfect size for this, which gave me a tiny little bit of room here. I can probably stencil it or something, but then I can make these little tags and put tags all in here, and then the whole thing is going to flip like that with a medallion here. So I haven't put the medallion down yet. So what I can actually do is just, and I would want to use something like Fabri-Tac so it's not moving. So again, I would just go like this across the bottom half. So I'm not doing the top like that. And then I can completely secure this and place it where I want it to go. So that being said, it would be right about there. And then it's going to work like that. See? Like that. And then the whole thing stays secure. And I can do the same thing. I can add some lace here. I could have added lace there if I wanted to. I could add lace to the top so you don't see the fold line. There's a billion things you can do. But this is just really fun. And it's literally, guys, it's just used out of a 12 by 12 piece of, this isn't even cardstock. This is scrapbooking paper. And you can do that and then just fold the bottom. Go 1, 2, 3 and fold it up. Fold the top, and then when you're at the top, you just leave a spot for a flap. I used my my We Are Memories Keepers crocodile, and I did the 2 corners, and and then I just double scored, like I just folded it twice at the top so that it has this motion so that it easily folds back in. So it's just super fun, and again, that's what this one here is as well. Same thing, just I covered this one in patterned paper, and I did the same thing on the inside. It's all covered in Archimedes paper. You could add a pocket. You could just tuck something in here and fold it all up. There's all kinds of stuff you can do. So it's just fun. So I wanted to share that with you guys. There. And then in here holds the journal once it's finished. So that's why I did it a bit smaller for this one, so it fit into my little folio. So that's my my project for Artemis' challenge. I'm just super late. We were supposed to post that on probably, I think, August. I want to say August 1st. I think she mentioned was August 1st, I think. I can't even remember. But basically, that got me through my move. That's what I was working on in between moving my family all of July, and so I'm just about done. I just have a few more things left to do. And the same thing, I can make all kinds of different elements and different things for this one. So again, this will be cute. I think I might either put this on one of the pages like this, where I don't have anything else happening, or I might even just add it like this to my front cover. And then the neat thing too, like I did with that one, I can glue it where I'm gluing it here, here, and here, and that leaves it open to put a pocket. You could make it that you put a tag behind it here, or you could even slip a tag in behind it this way. So you could do that too, where you glue it here, here, and here, and then put a tag in that way. So it's up to you. Just some options. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I know it's so pretty, Lori, and all you do is just get a little bit of gilding polish, and this is kind of my little hack, guys. I like to cut them on black cardstock, because when you cut them on black cardstock and go over them with your gilding polish, it looks like faux metal. So that's kind of my little hack behind how I get the embellishments to all look like they're faux metal. And that's how with black cardstock. And you just lightly cover it. And it gives you that appearance of faux metal. That one has Journey cut out of it. And this one here is gold. The gold gilding polish. Oh, this one? Yeah, it's right in front of me, Lori. Is it? No, it's not. I have Baroque and I have gift tags in front of me. One sec. I will find that and I will tell you exactly which one that is. I just don't have it handy. Yeah, that's one of my favorite sets. And then Tammy had gotten me the letters for my birthday. Let me see here. Here it is. It's just called Labels. So that's this one here, Labels. That's one of my favorite sets. I use that all the time. And it's great for doing different embellishments and things. Here it is. And this is the one from Tammy for my birthday. And it works wonderfully with sticky grid because then it doesn't move. The sticky grid prevents it from moving, and you can line up all your letters on top of any of your die cuts. And this one here is called Alphanumeric Tiny Type Upper. Tiny Type Upper. So I really like this. And that's how I got these ones. And they just make a beautiful little embellishment for your cover. Oh, the medallion. Yeah, I have that one here too. Whoops. Oh, stuff on my desk. I believe that one's here. Yep. The 3D impresslet. And this one here is just called Medallion. 662720. Medallion. And then I have this one too, and this is another one I use the same way. And it is Tim Holtz 3D Burst. And that works the same way, and they're about the same scale. If you guys can see, the large and the small. And I like it because it kind of looks like a flower. So that's another great option too. And I use this the same way as I use this one. I have actually an altered paper clip I will show you with that die. Here we go. And that's the large one. Is that the large one? It is. Yep, that's the large one. So it's really pretty. And yep, altered paper clip. I love it because it's versatile. And the other one that I did, I can show you guys, it's right here. I actually, and it's still attached to my string because I haven't decided how long I want a closure to be. So what I did was I took two and I glued them together. Then I took a brad, stuck the brad through, and put the brad onto, through one of these, and then I glued the other one on to leave that gap between where the brad is. And then I tied my string around where the brad is between this here and the actual medallion. And then this is now a closure. So I could wrap this around something and then wrap it around and then back around here. Because there's room to wrap that around. So that's how I've turned this into a closure. And the same thing, I've used almost like a rose gold thread. So it's very versatile. You can do all kinds of stuff, and this is one way of doing like a book closure, or this could be an envelope closure. I haven't really decided yet because I haven't put it on anything yet, but it was another one of my ideas that I had for using this die set. But again, you could use any of the ones that are like that. And then there's another one that I love, this one, and I'm trying to figure out a way to use this one, if you guys can see, as a closure. And I'm thinking probably something like that, or even this way, where it's attached one way, and then it's going to sit over top of something else, and like, so like my idea was kind of like this, the bigger one, because this is a smaller one, and then having it sit like this, with this. So I'm working up some kind of a thing where it's going to work together like that. I hope that makes sense. When I figure it out, I will let you guys know, and I will show you how I do it. But I think it would be super beautiful to go together. That's the idea that I had, because this is another one of my favorite ones. And I haven't really come to a conclusion of how to use it yet. So I think that'd be a fun way. And then this one here is the frame that I used here. And this is just called Floral Frame. And it's really beautiful. I love how that turned out. And I used Fifi gilding wax in copper for this one. And then this is the Empire Gold for the ones that look like that. And the ones that look like this. I want to get this in some more colors because this is my favorite wax to use. You just don't use this with your stencils because it will stain them, and it doesn't matter if you leave it on for 2 seconds or 5 minutes. It absolutely wrecks your stencils and you'll never get them clean. I found that out the hard way with a couple of my dim Holtz. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it at that. You guys have a great week. And I will see you guys back next week. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be going to YouTube in the fall. But I'm still going to do Facebook Lives. So it just means that I think in the fall, my day is going to either be Wednesday or Thursday. I haven't really decided yet. And then Friday nights, I will be live on YouTube. So I'm all set up for that, for YouTube Lives. And that's ready to go. And the little icon came up for me today. Would you like to go live? So, yeah, we're good to go. So that's all verified. So I'll let you guys know. And then so basically my Mixed Media Friday is going to be going to YouTube. And I'm going to start with the basics, guys. I'm switching up half of my products. So I'm going to be showing you guys all my new products and how they work and how they all play with your other products, and I'll go back into distress inks and crayons and all that stuff, and everything's going to be in proper playlists this time, so they're all going to be on my channel, and they're all going to be easy to find, so I just think it'll be better. Alright, thank you so much everyone, and you have a great night. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention too, sorry guys, I completely forgot. Lori's going to be posting a swap very soon, probably in the next day or so. And I just wanted to let you guys know. I'm not going to tell you what it is because that's half the fun. But with the swap, you are welcome to use my digital kit for the swap, but don't feel like you have to. So you guys still have creative freedom. If you want to use my kit, go for it. But you don't have to participate. And it's going to be out of a file folder. So the other thing I wanted to share, you can either use a file folder for this for the swap, or you can use 110-pound cardstock. and it's about the same thickness. So don't feel like, you know, you can't participate if you don't have a file folder. You can always use 110-pound cardstock. And yes, it is Shabby Chic month, so the swap will be in Shabby Chic style. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, just to kind of, you know, put it out there and let you guys know. Thank you so much, everyone, and you guys have a great night, and I'll be back here soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye.